want to know how you see the world. Do you seek out urban beauty? Or do you create your own landscapes? Maybe it's outdoor adventure that makes your world turn. Let us bring your passion into focus and give you the best view yet. At Botwin Eye Group and Oculus Optical, we defy the norms by combining advanced medical eye care with Santa Fe's finest selection of luxury and artful eyeglasses. Botwin Eye Group and Oculus Optical, 2 locations in Santa Fe.
Santa Fe Gloom Podcast. We are back in motion. Would like to thank our sponsors, Pantry Dose of Santa Fe. I was out there last week for my grandma's birthday. So thank you guys all so very much. City of Santa Fe Economic Development. Thank you. Capital Forward, Zach. Thanks. Age Friendly Senior Care, The Pit Press, Eric Moulton, Ryan. Thank you guys for doing all the behind scenes of the Gloom marketing. Sam's Club, Renee, appreciate it. Mercedes-Benz of Santa Fe, Mikey, thanks. And Oculus, thank you all so very much for putting on these podcasts. And today, as always, we've got a great one. Edreece is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Oakland Roots Sports Club. Edreece, thank you so much for jumping on.
Thanks for having me, David. Appreciate you. Excited about the things you guys are building. I know Santa Fe is a little bit of distance from Oakland, California, but the beautiful thing about Oakland is that we carry so much diversity that, you know, the city is really reflective of everywhere and everyone. So excited to connect with you, share the story, and of course, build in the spirit of football, man. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Your necklace, tell us about that. What is that?
Yeah. This is a turquoise necklace. It's my grandma used to wear a turquoise ring, and she was a very big pillar in my life. So I had someone very special make this for me so that I can rock every day. So
yeah. Santa Fe's big on turquoise.
Oh, that's amazing. So there you go,
yeah,
man.
I mean, you can see our colors.
I see it.
Are turquoise.
Yep.
I mean, that's like when people come to Santa Fe, they're looking for like the authentic Native American turquoise.
Really? Wow. Yep. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I got to tap in with you, man, and try to get some pieces out here to Oakland for me. That would be awesome.
When you come out to a Gloom game, we'll hook you up.
Bet. Call it a deal,
Cool.
man. That's awesome.
All right, man. So this is gonna be a funny question. You're probably gonna laugh at it, but this really, I think, like puts you in a nutshell and your brand, Oakland Roots, all together. All right. So, and you give us some background, and if you get stumped on it, let me know. I'll help you. I doubt it, but the Oakland Roots, your office space. Where did you guys buy the furniture?
Well, initially, when we were first starting back in 2019, there was dialogue around, you know, what kind of furniture we would buy for the office. And, you know, the easiest thing to do is to go to a big kind of department store and pick up what you need. And there was a lot of conversation around, you know, just pop into IKEA and buy what you need to buy and come back and assemble it. But because our tagline and our purpose is Oakland First Always, we did research to ensure that the decisions we were making in the early days were impacting the community and the club in a way that was fruitful for the community. Are we buying from local stores that, you know, will receive the benefit of the transaction? Are we stimulating our local economy? Are we building culture? Are we interacting with businesses in a way that's authentic? I mean, all of these questions are the questions we're asking every single day for partnerships we develop, for the players we sign, for the things that we drop through merchandising. I mean, every decision is made through that lens. So I would say that was a long answer to a probably short question, which is all locally sourced stuff, which is awesome. And I actually learned that the IKEA in the Bay Area, which is kind of sitting in Emeryville, some of the tax revenue on that comes to Oakland. So now we're back to buying stuff from IKEA, which is good. But yeah, man, we care a lot about those decisions.
And give us, our fans and our guests, just a glimpse on exactly what Oakland Roots is. And for our
Sure.
fans, we have the New Mexico United. We're obviously here in Santa Fe. New Mexico United, they play out of Albuquerque. So we play the
Correct.
Oakland Roots. But Edreece, if you can just kind of give us just a glimpse of, the breadth of the Oakland Roots and how big
Sure.
it really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, the club was founded in 2016, 17 on the premise that we would create one of the first purpose oriented professional soccer teams in the nation. Most people talk about purpose, but they never act on it. And we were the adverse. We, from the ground up, wanted to develop a club that represented the people, provided benefit to the people, and ultimately was a club that would never leave. If you look at the Oakland sporting dynamic right now, we lost all of our major league sports teams. And the reason for that is that major league teams and sports teams in general have been vehicles for billionaires to extract value from a community. And then when shit doesn't work out, they move to a different place. We founded our club fundamentally different in the sense that we literally would not exist without Oakland, California. So the the ethos from the beginning was that we wanted to develop a purpose driven club. We led the way in doing so. We were one of the first teams to commit to Common Goal, which gave 1% of our ticket revenue and staff salaries to social impact causes locally. We then started in 2019 in a league called NISA, which was Division Three. Um, had a successful sold out year at Laney College. Every game was 4 or 5 thousand people. It was absolutely stunning. And then we went into a pandemic year, which was a difficult year. While most teams will shut down the operations and not play soccer, we actually flipped the narrative and asked, how could we be present in a time where people are not present? And it's always been my belief that presence is a present. And we showed up in our community in very impactful ways during the pandemic, told Black and Brown stories, created, support mechanisms locally to help institutions and people that were going through a difficult time. We threw a justice match in the middle of a pandemic safely, and raised money for causes at the intersection of race and gender justice, and kept all of our staff on board. Didn't fire a single person, which most teams would have probably done. We do the hard things. And during the pandemic, the opportunity to move to USL Championship became a reality. And we moved to USL, of which New Mexico is one of the teams in our league that we play. And we are now operating at the Division II level in the United States soccer structure. We have a women's team in Oakland Soul who plays in the W League. They've been an amazing joy for our organization. Rolling out a women's team equitably and correct was a big aspiration of ours, and we definitely aspire to have them play at the highest level possible one day. And then our development team, Project 510, is really a resource to bring in talent from the local community without extracting. Again, David, I think this is a key differentiation again for us, which is most teams will see a way to extract value from youth in the pay to play model. We said, no, let's flip that narrative and actually go to these youth clubs that are already doing an amazing job and are already developing talent and partner with them to bring the top tier talent to our club at no fee. So Project 510 is an entirely free program where we just work with the local clubs to bring in the best talent, develop them, sign them to academy contracts, then one day hope they go professional. We have 6 academy contracts signed to our first team right now. It's the most in the league, and all of them are local talent. So we're creating a mechanism here locally that is full of local driven talent. One day I hope the whole roster is made up of local players. There's the Bay Area, specifically East Bay, is a massive place, and we've done an incredible job of building. I'll end on a few other things, man. One is, we are community owned. We have over 6,000 investors, and we've raised $3.1 million from the community. This is the largest community raise in American sports history. We've done that. We've shattered another record as a purpose driven club. And we will never leave the community that we operate in, and this fortifies that. And then most recently, we moved to the iconic Oakland Coliseum, which is a venue that I'm sure everyone is aware of, despite being from here or not. And we had our home opener this season that did 26,000, another U.S. sports history record for highest attendance for a non-major league team. We also broke the USL championship record for highest attendance. So all of these things are happening and growing, and we just acquired the former Raiders training facility, which is a state of the art training grounds for our team to develop and build culture every day. And so it feels like we're in a really incredible place in time where the club is reaching incredible heights, and it's done in a way that preserves the core of who we are. So wow, that was a lot there, but I hope that gives fans a perspective as to who we are, why we built the club, and what we got in the works.
Excellent. No, it's perfect. When I started out the Santa Fe Gloom, I looked to the Oakland Roots branding, and I told our marketing team, how do we make the Santa Fe brand very similar to Oakland Roots? Because you touched on a real good point that it would be hard for a name to be called, let's say, the Denver Roots. It's not really not the same. It can only really be in Oakland. That
Right.
Oakland Roots name can really only be there.
Right.
Same with Santa Fe Gloom. And our fans kind of know where the gloom comes from. But
Yeah.
we have the Zobra, which is a huge festival, and we burn Old Man Gloom. That's his nickname. So Santa Fe Gloom is only here in Santa Fe.
Perfect.
It can't be Oakland Gloom, X, Y, and Z. So
Right.
we came back with exactly that. And Oakland Roots, that stands alone. Santa Fe Gloom stands alone. So thank you so much for all that inspiration, because it makes sense,
man.
because the name, the branding, the culture needs to reflect the people.
It does. Yeah. And look, so many times throughout our process, we've had people reach out and go, "Hey, man, how did you guys develop the branding? It's so good. It's so strong." I think it comes down to a few very fundamental things. One, a brand needs to stand for something, and each community that you're building a brand in needs to connect with that community in order for it to stand for something. um, I think that's why most businesses open and close, is because they don't develop identities strong enough for people to want to commit themselves to. And if you look at Oakland and the brands that we've created, the Raiders, the A's, the Warriors, these are brands that are world known and have a meaning and have a connection point to. And it's unfortunate to see them leave. But what I will say is none of these teams will have the same flavor. None of these teams will have the same culture after leaving from Oakland, because Oakland itself is so unique and so powerful and so diverse. I mean, some of the most iconic names have come out of here: athletes, Marshawn Lynch, Damian Lillard, list does not stop. Jason Kidd. And from a musical perspective, it also doesn't stop. I mean, we birthed the hyphy music, funk music. I mean, all of that sound that you hear in most of the LA sound and aesthetic, the overall hip hop scene, that Bay sound is very distinct and has created a whole wave of movement. So, all that to say that, we are the nexus, and no one can replicate that. And brands like yours and others need to really be tuned into the environment in which you operate in order to be successful. So that's one. The second thing is aesthetic, man. I think oftentimes people don't think about the power of aesthetic. One thing that I firmly believe is that human beings can feel beauty, and we all love to feel that feeling. It's associated with joy, and it's associated with something maybe we can't describe. But beauty and magic is something that I aspire to get to in every asset of our brand identity. And I don't take that lightly at all. I think most people don't think about that, and that's why I care so much about the fashion industry, is because they do a brilliant job of tapping into aesthetics and beauty in a way that most other brands do not. And if you're able to capture the essence of that and pair it with, sports performance, and community, then you're developing something really special, all while still trying to be good human beings. That's the most important factor. It's like aesthetic doesn't mean shit if you're not a good person. Aesthetic will not drive people to purchase if you're not a good person. And you see that with companies all over the world. You know, a CEO will say something stupid and will not align with the general public, and then the company stock drops. Like, being good human beings is, in my opinion, a very strong pillar in building something meaningful. It is the harder way. It is the longer way. And you will feel like, why do I have to be this way to get to where I got to go? But I promise you, it's more fruitful. And those things are kind of core to our existence.
You mentioned in a podcast earlier, some to the extent that empathy is the highest form of intelligence.
Hmm.
Explain that.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's probably deeper in meaning than it needs to be, but you know, human connectivity is the nexus of our existence. It's the core of our existence. Um, Human beings, I think, try to be larger than we actually are, but at our center, we're about humanity and connectivity, and we simply would not exist if we lived on an island by ourselves. We would not be able to proliferate, we would not be able to create, we would not be able to work off of each other's energy, and we would be lonely. And so, at the core of who we are is working together and finding ways to work together. That's how society has progressed over time, and that's fundamental. A big part of being able to create a community in a world that is good is understanding one another and feeling empathy for one another. Um, Oftentimes, being successful is associated with being an asshole. And I've often heard, you got to be an asshole. You got to be a jerk to be successful. You got to be ruthless to get to where you got to go. I think you can be ruthless and relentless and still be positive and good. And I think that's the example that I'm trying to display in the real world, especially with a business that's so driven on performance and winning, which is high levels of adrenaline, high testosterone, and all that. Sometimes it's difficult to maintain humanity through all that. And the important thing that we're trying to develop is like, you can be an incredible person and still compete at a high level. You can be for the community and still win, right? Those two things are not disassociated. They're not correlated. They're fully possible to coexist together, right? And I think someone at some point said something counter to that, and then we just all accepted it. And that's the thing that I love to try to break down the barrier for in sport, business, and in life in general. Like, we just all need to be a bit more empathetic to one another and connect to one another. And that, to me, is the highest form of intelligence. I've met a lot of intelligent people, quote unquote, intelligent people with high IQs with very low EQs. And emotional intelligence arguably will take you to places that IQ will not. And that's my belief.
You mentioned breaking down barriers. In your other podcasts, you've also mentioned that you don't look like Mark Cuban,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
how do you break down those barriers? I assume you don't
Yeah.
come back from like a billionaire family. So
Nah. Yeah.
talk us through that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a product of refugees who fled the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. They fled to the Bay Area, and I was fortunate enough to be born here, have a life here that was fruitful compared to, people back home. My upbringing was also not necessarily easy, right? And, we didn't come from money. We're not, my parents, as I mentioned, were refugees. They had to build a life here and work hard, and they did, and they built a good life for themselves. But I'm brown. I'm 36. I was born in Oakland, and I got all the cards stacked against me. I got all the odds betting against me. I don't look like a cat that should be on a board of a professional team. I'm in rooms that maybe I shouldn't be in. But the key for me is, you know, when you put real action in the world and those results are tangible and they speak for itself. I always say to the staff, like, let the work do the work. If the work does the work, then no one can say shit about you. And that really is core to my like day-to-day action and belief. I don't care what I'm wearing. I don't care how I talk. As long as I'm producing, then really no one can say anything about but my actions, right? And I think that's true for everything in this world. Is like stay diligent, stay focused on the results, get shit done, and don't give people room to pass judgment on you and or think of you as less. And generally, people that start sports teams are billionaires that have hella money and can now afford the risk.
Yeah.
I started it with my fellow co-founders with zero money in our pocket, and at the time I was living out my car, hopping from my cousin's place to my cousin's place, and just trying to figure life out. And so we started it with a fundamentally different belief. If you look at most European clubs, they're started from the pubs, they're started from common people. And very similarly, we did that as well. America just has a different mentality around how pro teams are built. And we broke down that barrier from the get and showed people that it's possible.
Yeah. So it's kind of a follow-up question on it. What would a truly community-owned sports model look like, and why isn't it more common?
Mm,
So something similar to what the Gloom's doing. For example, our
yeah.
games are free to the community,
Yeah. Wow.
not just
Wow.
kids. It's everybody. You come as you are. Those are the barriers that I'm trying to break down.
Mhm.
I'm giving our fans here in Santa Fe no excuses to get to the game when it comes to financial, right? There's also work, transportation, etc. But when it
Yeah.
comes to a $10 or $15 ticket, it's like, hey, it's on us.
Yeah.
Come out
That's
to the
pretty
Gloom game,
incredible.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's
I
it's
feel
a
like Oakland
difficult.
roots are very similar.
Yeah, it's a very difficult balance, bro. I mean, you bring up a good question. Like being purpose oriented doesn't mean that you're not profitable or you're not aspiring to be profitable. I think the Savannah Bananas are a great example. Like the Savannah Bananas don't have sponsors on their jerseys. They don't have sponsors in stadium. How they make money is through the experience and the value of the business they're creating. And they're a great business and they're doing really, really well. I think for us as a community driven team, one being community owned, I think is an important part of that. So there's a level of accountability from the community on your decision making. So if you're signing with a partner that does not align with the community, the community investors will tell you we're not aligned with that. you know, or if you're doing poorly on the field, the community will hold you accountable for those results and they want better results. If I'm investing my hard earned dollars into this club and y'all are losing, what the hell? You know what I mean? So those are the things that I think really matter in this context. I think the key for us is to be 100-year long plus institution so that people can have an equitable, accessible brand that they appreciate, they can get behind, be passionate behind, give back to the community in a way that moves the needle. That this isn't just about like being present, but like truly moving the needle for our community, bringing joy to our community. And those elements make it what it is, all while still maintaining business ethics. Like at the end of the day, we're a business. If we're not sustainable, then it's not going to work. So we can't be around 100 years if we're not able to make the money to keep the salaries paid and keep the lights on. So all of these things are a delicate balance. And again, this goes back to the core part of my discussion, David, which is like empathy and
Yeah.
intentional action. You can be a business, Ben and Jerry's, Patagonia, have great business intention and emotional intelligence and empathy for your demographic while still being profitable and making money, right? Those two things don't have to be detached from one another.
Love it, man. Thanks. I think we're just about out of time. I know we hit that 30-minute mark. Here are our hats.
Amazing. Yes, sir.
How do you like it?
I love it. You guys did a good job, man. I love the color scheme. I think is it teal? Is it turquoise? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Oh, that's
turquoise.
crazy. The pattern is
Yeah.
crazy. You guys got to do more with that pattern on the kits or whatnot if you haven't already. But that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a nod to like Native American culture here
Yeah.
in San Jose.
Do you have Native American roots, David?
Yeah, I do.
You do. Amazing. Amazing.
And
That's
this is
great.
kind of just like our gloom
Love that.
right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good typeface. I love that typeface.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It's awesome.
So, it's a show and tell over here with the gloom. We got like a little kid's book,
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, our players autograph these books. So
That's brilliant. Yeah, we got to do something similar. Get the kids involved.
And we just got our stickers too.
Love it.
So
Love it.
the 1610 is when Santa Fe became a city. So again,
Ah,
we're really guided into our roots of Santa Fe. As us as Santa Feans, we're normally saying like, "Hey, my name's David. How are you?" It's not like where do you work? It's like where are you from?
where are you from?
Like what part
Yeah.
of Santa Fe are you from? What part of northern New Mexico? Who's your grandma? That type of thing. It's like that type of vibe, So
That's awesome. I got to come to Santa Fe, man.
oh, you'll
For
love
sure.
it. You'll
Yeah.
love, and you love a gloom game, man. I mean,
I love it.
we're just trying to duplicate the things that you guys do in Oakland.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, if there's a core thing in all of this is like just 100% be who you guys are, and there won't be any need to duplicate. I read this quote like the best way to outcompete someone else is to just be yourself because no one can replicate you. So
That's
if you're just like 100% relentlessly you, no one else in the world can replicate that. So how can you have competition? So just be you, and the rest of it will fall into place, brother. But it was a joy to hop on, man. I really appreciate the conversation, and we'd love to run it back one day soon.
Of course, you got it.
Right
This was
on.
a big treat for all of us here in Santa Fe. Edreece, thank you so much, man. Appreciate
Thank you,
everything.
brother.
We'll be in touch.
Appreciate you. Good
You're
luck with
welcome.
everything, man. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Peace.
Thank you.